You know, Rick enjoyed family and friends in his life, and now some 4 years later, his family and friends have again reunited and have come together with this tribute to memorialize Rick's life, really, as a law enforcement officer. What started off with Agent Supervisor Bob Pennell with a very simple question to then Captain Greg Sullivan: can we do this? Can we have a sign and a state route dedicated in Rick's honor? Greg came to me latter part of 2013, and that's what started the ball rolling. I want to thank then Sheriff Tom Cavallero, who penned a magnificent letter with the assistance of Captain Sullivan, and did get this resolution number 77 to Senator Anthony Cannella, and in concurrence with the Assembly, with Adam Gray firmly behind this memorial, this sign, we were able to get it through last August. And as you well know, now that I'm with the state, things move a little bit slower at the state level. So some months later, with the assistance of Lisa, her family, and all her friends, we're able to raise enough funds to put this sign together at no cost to the taxpayers, and through all the donations of these persons here today that were, friends of Rick, family, just the good days. It's interesting talking with Lisa, and I was thinking about all the times and all the persons that came from the local law enforcement, Pat Lunny, Chief of Police, myself, Bob, that we're still here. We're all close friends and able to move along, but in true ironic fashion, in which only Rick could orchestrate from the heavens. This sign is going to be placed on Highway 140, State Route 140, between Arboleda, which we know here locally as Tuttle, and Plainsburg Road, where basically Rick grew up in the Planado La Grande area. And I was thinking the other day, while putting all these things together, is that the irony was Rick used 140 to be chased by law enforcement, and then some years later turned the table. He was chasing people down 140. So I think it's very appropriate that we're able to get this state route dedicated in his honor. As a deputy and a sergeant, he traversed that area quite a bit before moving on to B&E. At this point in time, I don't see Assembly Member Adam Gray, so I'll just pinch hit for him. And talking with him a couple weeks ago at an event in Sacramento, that he's fully behind this, as was Senator Anthony Cannella, for you and the family and all the friends here today. It could not be done without the concurrence of, obviously, a resolution by the Senate and voted on by the Assembly. So they were shoulder to shoulder on this. At this point in time, I'd like to call up Chairman of the Board, John Pedroso, who has a few words. Thank you, John, for being here as chairman, and that is his district also.
Thank you, Mark. I too can remember seeing Rick back in the younger days being chased on 140 and all that, because I used to partake in that. But on behalf of Merced County and the Board of Supervisors, I can't think of a more fitting area to designate part of the highway to Rick. He was great to be around, and he was a big Giants fan, so that was always fun. So with that, congratulations on this, and it's duly warranted. So thank you.
I got started in 1979, and Rick was part of the sheriff's office then, and his narcotics partner is also standing in here, Craig. You guys remember the movie or the television series Miami Vice? Well, those two tried to fit that to a T to their Gucci shoes and everything else. And it was just very comical to hear a lot of stuff, but they got out and got with it. And I seem to recall a cow pen one day, some bad guy you guys were chasing, but but it is attributing a great tribute to Rick. He was a good guy, and I worked for him when he was a sergeant, and now when we go to Planada, I'll be seeing his name every day I go over there. So thank you for this opportunity, and it's well deserved by him.
Thank you, Sheriff. At this point in time, one of Rick's cohorts, I'm sure strictly in the law enforcement arena, Ron Brooks, who's gone on to bigger and better things, Mr. Consultant in Washington, D.C. Ron, I'm sure you're going to have some words of wisdom for us. And it's a family here.
No. So I first met Rick. We went to the Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement just about maybe 8 months apart, and I got promoted, and then Rick was promoted, and we took over a task force in Santa Cruz. And so on our first day, I had this famous informant who I can reveal now because he's long dead, Henry Medrano. Dick Blake probably remembers the Medrano family, all the guys that grew up in Planada. And so I said, hey, Rick, you ever heard of a place called Planada? And he pulls the car over, and he gets out, and he says, you don't make fun of my upbringing, step out, we're going to... And Rick, everybody knows that Rick is basically a lover, not a fighter, but this incensed him. And I said, dude, I'm from the Bay Area. I don't know from Planada. I just know this guy, Henry Medrano. And he goes, Henry Medrano, I used to hang out with his brother, Richie Medrano, and Peter D. Blake. And so began the friendship. Rick and I worked together, maybe only about a year in the same assignment, but we are friends to this day, because there isn't a day that doesn't go by that I don't think of him, that I don't communicate with him, just like I did when he was here before he was taken too soon. I'm going to keep this short because, unlike you guys that are raised in the Valley, this heat is very hard on old fat guys from the Bay Area. It's not what we're used to. But I just want to say a couple of things that you all know. Rick, first of all, was a great guy and a funny guy, and it would be easy to kind of dismiss him as just a funny guy. But I want you to think back to the fact that he came to B&E and became the highest ranking person in the California Department of Justice on the law enforcement side, the director of the Division of Law Enforcement. If you think back 4 years to his funeral, the governor, the attorney general, some 40 sheriffs, 50 or 60 police chiefs, executives, and rank and file filled that church because he was respected. I had a chief, my first chief, when I first went into law enforcement, told me one time, he said, hey, look, the only praise a police officer needs is to hear that he's a good cop. Well, Rick was a great cop, and he was a great friend. He was a patriot. He received through his life many awards and recognition. We served together on the California Narcotic Officers Association board for many years. I was a president, he was a president. But at the end of the day, the thing that was most important to Rick and the thing that he would like to be remembered for is to having been Lisa's best friend and partner and husband and Chrissy's dad. Because that was all, at the end of the day, that meant anything to him. That and his friends, his family and his friends. But really, it was Lisa and Chrissy. So it was an honor to know Rick. It's an honor to remember him every day. And I know he would be honored to be recognized, especially at his hometown. That really meant something to him. Thanks, Chief.
Probably take a little liberty here, Ron. I've seen you sweat in cooler spots, but so you can't blame the Central Valley weather, okay? I just want to have that memorialized for those people taping. We have a few extra minutes in, Lisa, if you don't mind. I'd like to bring up Steve Delgado, agent in charge for DEA, has a few words.
Wait a minute. This is Rick's godfather.
This is Rick's godfather.
It is. It is.
And I was, little quick stories. Rick and I started in Fresno. He was a B&E agent, I was a DEA agent. We started as young agents. And so through life, we started excelling and became managers. I don't know how that was possible, but that happened. And so it was time for retirement for me. And I asked Rick, did he have any jobs open or anything that I could take. He said he did. So he got me a job with Western States Information Network. So he got me to be a state employee, from a Fed to be a state employee. So when Rick was getting ready to retire, he said, hey, do you have anything open or anything that you know of? So then I called McGregor Scott and I said, boy, you got a law enforcement coordinator position open. And so he said, oh, have Rick put it in. So Rick put it in, and to make a long story short, Rick didn't know the Fed paper. He put in the wrong paperwork. So he calls me up and he says, oh, mijo, I really screwed up. I put in the wrong paperwork. So I called McGregor Scott and I said, hey, and he said, hey, you know, what can I do, right? Okay, let's have him do it over again. So we did. We got Rick, well, I didn't say we. Rick got the job, and so we made Rick a Fed. So that really worked out for us and everything. We had a strong bond, Rick and I, because in our Catholic faith, he chose me to be his godfather, to be a mentor in the Catholic faith, and it was really important to me. And he, you know, as Rick was, he's always a cool and smooth speaker. He told me that this happened in Fresno, that we'll start this thing out and we'll just go to catechism once a week. Well, it turned out to be 3 times a week for a year. So that's the kind of guy that he could get you into. But I was really proud to know him. And to me, Rick, this is the best honor I could see. Love you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Your turn, Lisa.
All right. All righty then.
Chrissy and I truly appreciate you for joining me this afternoon. I'm overwhelmed by the love and support you've shown us, and it's wonderful to have the opportunities to spend this time with our family and friends. I want to thank everyone for their hard work and donations for this event. Family, friends, CNOA, Senator Cannella, and especially Chief Mark Pazin, who spent much time in preparation and putting this all together. Over the past years, I've had the opportunity to reflect and put things into perspective. Rick loved his work and all those outstanding people he worked with. I look back on his accomplishments and victories. There were so many, and because of him, I know this world is a better place. Sorry. Does anyone have a drink? Glass of champagne? No. Anyway, soon. This highway will be a constant reminder of his dedication and his work. To quote Rick, I looked at his notes from some of his past speeches actually. It was an honor to be a member of the Merced County Sheriff's Department, DOJ, U.S. Attorney's Office, and all other facets of law enforcement. I performed my duty for over 30 years and considered each day to have been a privilege. I stood shoulder to shoulder with the most outstanding men and women in American law enforcement. Public service is a noble calling and honorable profession. It was an honor to have served with you all. Today, it's my honor and privilege to be here with all of you for this heartfelt dedication. Chrissy and I thank you. Rick thanks you too. Thanks. Oh yeah, Patsy.
Patsy, get on that side. We'll just stand right.
And this woman is responsible for Rick being on this earth. This is Rick's mom, Patsy.
Be honest.
On behalf of everybody, we wanted you to have something to go home with you, to be at the house, and probably get it framed and hang it up, but you'll have a replica at the house. On behalf of all of us, there you go.
Well, I think, you get it, Tom? That will conclude this dedication, and I thank everybody, and we have to be out of here because that's the deal I cut with Chantel and Caltrans.
Oh, no, I know you. It's time to have a beer,
Yeah,
right? I know
and that too. It's a parallel.